When we now move on to our next session, which is a very, very interesting conversation titled The Journey to Making Chennai a Global Startup City. I'd like to welcome on stage Mr. Sivaraja Ramanathan, Mission Director and CEO of Startup TN. Can we give him a big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen? He will be in conversation with Sangeeta Kandavel, Senior Assistant Editor, Business, The Hindu.
Very good afternoon to everyone here. So in May 2021, when the government came to power, we just had 2,146 startups in Tamil Nadu. Today, as we talk here, this number has grown to 13,500, an extraordinary leap. Even places like Tirunelveli, which is one of the most remotest location down south, has over 400 startups today. So that's the kind of growth we've seen in the last 4 years. And today we will hear from the man who has been instrumental in shaping and strengthening Tamil Nadu's startup ecosystem. I welcome you to the session, sir. So, sir, if you look at Chennai, Chennai has predominantly been known as the SaaS hub. We've always been known as a SaaS hub. So can you tell us, as the ecosystem matures, what's the next big chapter for Chennai? And what sectors should today's entrepreneurs and youngsters be excited about for the next 10 years?
Yeah, so அனைவருக்கும் இனிய மதிய வணக்கங்கள். Good afternoon to all. And I think we can converse in Tanglish, Sangeeta.
Absolutely, sir. We are in Chennai, so we have to.
Yeah, so that's a good question to start with. See, basically, when you talk about startup ecosystem, and also the IT ecosystem, Chennai is known for its SaaS leadership in the country. At the same time, over a period of time, last 3-4 years, things are changing. Many new domains are coming into play. அந்த கான்டெக்ஸ்டில் வந்து நான் ஒரு 2 விதமாக இதை சொல்கிறேன். இப்போ நீங்கள் SaaSன்னு எடுத்துட்டிங்கன்னா கூட still, after the intervention or the emergence of artificial intelligence, some companies in the early stage were in some kind of a shock. I have good friends in some of the leading SaaS ecosystem who are founders. Like Suresh Sambandam and Kumar Vembusar and number of other people. So when I converse with them, when I interact with them, and what kind of a strategies that they and they are followers in the SaaS Boomi ecosystem, what kind of a strategies that they are adopting is that many of the prominent SaaS companies are adopting AI, and it's a structural change in a way. Not like any future addition or something like that, but it is kind of even their infrastructure cost, like server space and the talent pool, everything is becoming a problem for them, because it's a total shift from one kind of a platform to another kind of platform. Still, their logic is the same. The solution logic is the same, but at the same time, the way of delivery and incorporating AI into the system has many challenges. But with limited exposure to many of those companies, I feel that at least close to 100 leading companies have quickly adopted AI. So the SaaS ecosystem is still the powerful ecosystem in India, the Chennai ecosystem. One data point to substantiate my claim of SaaS leadership is always there in Chennai. Even if you look at the early 2026 data, it says 34% of the Indian SaaS talent pool is hosted in Chennai. Though we have only 11% of the offices density. Where if you look at Bangalore, the offices density is much, much high. But their talent host is only 21%. So in that sense, you can see this, the talent pool is still with Chennai. And also at the same time, the early 2026 data also says that there is a national dip of 4-5% in the SaaS talent host throughout the country. So when the country is going on a negative trend in SaaS, human resource, Chennai is at the peak with 34%. and also a kind of an annual growth trajectory. So having said that, SaaS is not the only thing, but SaaS is sustaining. This one point number one I would like to make. Number two, ரொம்ப நாளாக வந்து SaaS மட்டும்தான் ஒரு ப்ராமினென்ட் செக்டராக நம்ம வந்து பேசிகிட்டு இருந்தோம். ஆஃப் லேட் வந்து வி சி டீப் டெக், எஸ்பெஷலி ஸ்பேஸ் டெக். அதில் ஸ்பேஸ் டெக் இஸ் ஆல்சோ பார்ட் ஆஃப் டீப் டெக். அந்த ஈகோ சிஸ்டம், தேங்க்ஸ் டு தி IIT Madras ஈகோ சிஸ்டம் அண்ட் தேர் இனிஷியேட்டிவ்ஸ், like we had Ashwin, Ravichandran, Srinath Ravichandran, founder of Agnikul Cosmos. ஸோ இவங்கெல்லாம் வந்து ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு இன்ஸ்பிரேஷன். அண்ட் ஒரு நேஷ்னல், ஐ வுட் சே நாட் நேஷ்னல், ஒரு ஏஷியன் இனோவேஷன் சொல்லலாம். அந்த 3D பிரிண்ட், அடிட்டிவ் மேனுஃபேக்சரிங்கில் ஒரு பார்ட். ஈவன் அ ராக்கெட் கேன் பி டன் த்ரூ 3D பிரிண்டிங் அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு பிரேக் த்ரூ இனோவேஷன். ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு இனோவேஷன் வந்து பார்த்திங்கன்னா நிறைய பேரை இன்ஸ்பயர் பண்ணுது. இப்போ கரண்ட்லி நீங்கள் நம்பர் ஆஃப் DPIIT ரெஜிஸ்டர்ட் ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ஸ் பார்த்திங்க அப்படின்னா தமிழ்நாட்டில் வந்து ப்ராமினன்ட் ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ஸ் வந்து ஒரு 23 ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ஸ் இருக்குது ஸ்பேஸ் டெக்கில். அதில் சென்னை வந்து ஒரு 13 ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ஸ் அதில் சென்னையில் இருக்குது. தீஸ் ஆர் ஆல் வெரி குட் ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ஸ். அவுட் ஆஃப் தீஸ் 13 ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ஸ், ஐ திங்க் ஆல் தி ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ஸ் ஆர் funded. I'm talking about the prominent startups means some funded through some VC this thing. And in addition to that, இப்போ startup TNல இருந்து கூட last year we launched a special space tech fund of 10 crore to invest as a seed fund in early stage space tech companies. And also we are now in the process of setting up a specialized space tech incubator, which is first of its kind for any state to do in the country. The ISRO is having a in-space ecosystem in Ahmedabad, but that's by ISRO and by the government of India. But for a state, we are very soon after the elections we'll be initiating that that incubation ecosystem. So like that, like the recent space tech policy also, we are planning a space base in especially in the southern part of Tamil Nadu, while ISRO is coming up with the state government support, the Kulasegaram Pattinam space park, where the space launch and everything will be developed there. So alongside Kulasegarapatnam, the government wants to promote a couple of cities in the southern Tamil Nadu like Madurai, Tirunelveli, Tuticorin and Virudhunagar. Each of these locations will have strategic space base to support the overall space tech ecosystem. When you talk about the space tech ecosystem, you have the upstream developments like the rockets and the satellites, all those stuff, the hardware stuff, which is so attractive. After Agnikul's success, many of the youngsters are so attracted towards that upstream thing. But the real money is in the downstream areas, where the satellite data is put into some use. So that is where the applications come into play. That is where real money is also there. Many companies are slowly emerging, but the youngsters, seeing the physical, rocket launch, and they are getting attracted towards upstream areas of space tech. So we wanted to, have a balance in both upstream and downstream aspects of, the space tech, this thing. And eventually, what we wanted to establish Tamil Nadu as a space tech leader. And space tech is very much part of deep tech, and overall deep tech ecosystem also emerging well. Other than the SaaS kind of thing, you heard of IIT Madras launching some 600 crore fund for supporting deep tech, and also Government of India coming up with 1 lakh crore deep tech funding. And also we have our own deep tech policy released by IT Ministry recently, and we have a specialized incubation center called IT&T Hub within Anna University, focusing on deep tech. And other than that, there are many initiatives coming up around the deep tech ecosystem, and we clearly wanted to position Tamil Nadu as the deep tech hub. And even recently, we are working with one of the global leader in ecosystem analytics called Startup Genome. So they also, after doing a detailed study, the study is under process, but one of the initial outcome of Startup Genome is that we should focus more on the AMR, the advanced manufacturing and robotics, or in general, it's a deep tech. So this is where, we wanted to, like focus in the next, I think, phase. But at the same time, as a nodal agency for the state to develop startup ecosystem, we cannot be sector specific, we have to be sector agnostic. But I'm just, giving highlights, these are the areas that is, growing well.
Okay, it's really interesting to see that Chennai has so many space tech startups. So if you were to put a number to the number of startups in Chennai, to the number of women-led startups in Chennai, can you share some numbers on what's happening with startups in Chennai alone? And also, what kind of initiatives is Startup TN doing for startups in this region?
Yeah. So maybe since you are asking numbers, please allow me to refer my notes here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as you introduced me, during the introductory session, when we started the entire process, the Startup TN is one of the youngest mission, in the country to develop a startup ecosystem in a state. So this formally, this is a Section 8 company under MSME Ministry of Government of Tamil Nadu. It was formally incorporated in the mid of 2021, but became operational in 22 January. It's almost a 4-year old organization. And when we started, because Startup India or the DPIIT Ministry, Government of India, they started registering startups, which we call as DPIIT registration, in the year 2016. So from 2016 to 2021 mid or end, maybe around September, October, we had close to 2,300 startups registered. So after that, now currently we are at 13,500 as you shared. So almost some 6x growth we recorded. But when it comes to Chennai, maybe I can share some figures. Between 2016 and 2021, we had 1,430 startups, and 21 to till date, we have 6,023 startups. Totally 7,453 startups are in Chennai. This is almost 55-60% of the state. But when we took over the ecosystem work in 22, Chennai's percentage in the state was close to 80%. Now it has come down. Meaning Chennai is not, it doesn't mean Chennai is not performing well. Chennai is still growing at 300 plus percentage. But we have initiated several activities in the tier 2, tier 3 towns. So we are recording close to 700% growth in the tier 2, tier 3 towns. So because of that, the overall number has, got increased, but the percentage or the share of Chennai has decreased because the other, earlier it was not there. Only 20%, the other all cities put together, including Coimbatore, contributed only 20%. Now it is almost some 40 plus percentage by the other cities, and close to 60% or some 58 to 60% by Chennai. So this is the number. And between 16 and 22, we had 286 startups registering per year, all those 6 years. From 2021 onwards, we could see an average of 1,205 startup registering every year, which is a annual growth rate of 64%, or in terms of X multiplier, it is 4x. At the same time, we are seeing 8x growth in the other cities, though the numbers are comparatively low. And out of these startups, almost in Chennai, 49%, 2% are women-led. It's some amazing numbers when it comes to women-led startups. And if you put the entire state's numbers, it is slightly higher in the tier 2, tier 3 cities, the women, this thing. So put together, it is around 50.8% is women-led, and only 49.2% is the men-led startups overall in Tamil Nadu. When it comes to Startup TN's initiatives, I can share a couple of, and as an agency, ecosystem development agency, initially, our strategy was to, because when we did a study about the ecosystem, at that point of time, many of the startups in Tamil Nadu or from Chennai especially were leaving to Bangalore or Hyderabad. So the problem was there is a great amount of or lack of trust and hope with the ecosystem. So we wanted to establish that psychological problem. I can't say psychological problem because of the external factors. They had to leave the state because of better access to funding, mentoring ecosystem, incubation ecosystem, everything. So we wanted to launch many schemes. Maybe we call it as a width strategy. That means we launched parallelly many schemes. We didn't go depth. So we were very clear, conscious decision up to this 26 elections. We wanted to focus on creating a trust and hope in the ecosystem. I think to some extent we have achieved that trust and hope. I could see from the sharing by many of the founders and investors and mentors through social media and some of the media reports. So we could see that that trust and hope is slowly and steadily increasing. And to do this, we launched 45 plus different projects. I'll just highlight a couple of projects there, initiatives. One is the TANSEED, funding, the grant. So far that we have a very interesting data point to share with you. So we so far we have given 166 TANSEED grants, and this is not the vital data, because giving away a grant is not a major thing, but what happened after that is what matters, because this is only a 20 crore funding put together, out of which 66 are woman-led startup, and 59 of them have raised follow-on funding out of this 166. And 130 startups are generating revenue, because all these startups are very early stage, idea stage startups mostly, except few. And they started making revenue, because we are also doing a lot of post-funding, accelerator programs or some kind of a mentor connect, or so much of, interventions we are doing. And all these companies, put together, they've raised 535 crore follow-on funding. So that is, in 2 to 3 years, 3 years time, that's kind of a good figure to, cherish with. And out of these 166 companies, there are totally 134 patents filed, and close to 1,744 full-time employment, and close to 1,000 part-time jobs are generated. Because for government, it is important to see this job generation also very, very important metric to when we invest something or give away grants. And also these 166 companies together, they made a total revenue of, as on date, this is 3 months back, we took the last data. It is 735 crore total revenue they made. So this is one scheme. And yeah, thank you. And ACST fund, this is also, I'll just, in want of time, I don't want to go to all the 45 schemes which will bore you. I'm just, touching upon some of the key finance-related schemes. We also launched for the first time in the country a fund called Tamil Nadu SCST Startup Fund, where if a scheduled caste or scheduled tribe founder is holding 51% stake in a company, they can apply for a SCST Startup Fund, which is an equity fund. It's not a grant, it's an equity fund. So in this equity fund, so far we have invested in 41 companies, and out of which 22 companies are from Chennai. Yeah, and one space tech company called Orbitide. It is, even if you Google it, you will find this company. It is maybe, there are 2-3 companies that we talk much about space tech. One is this Agnikul, and the Galaxy Eye, and also Orbitide is one of the, they are doing on-orbit refueling. On the orbit, they are refueling. This is, in the world, there are only 2-3 companies working in this particular aspect, and they are one companies. So recently they launched their first satellite in the recent PSLV thing, and because they had some problems with the PSLV launch, now they are relaunching with the SpaceX in US. So this is one company where the government directly invested around 5 crores, and they raised follow-on funding also. So like that, we have even in this SEST companies, 7 companies have raised 18 crores in follow-on funding. So one of the success of Startup TN initiative is that either in TANSEED or in SEST funding, we've done close to 75 crores of investment in these two sectors. And we had good, follow-on funding to, come in this thing. And also the revenue is also comparatively very high because of, for example, you have another, I think, we'll talk about the, that inclusivity later. But, this is what mainly we do. Other than that, we have many other schemes like even, in the inclusive area, we have special funds, grants for transgenders, differently abled, and also space tech, we have a spirit, I told you. And recently, last budget, we also launched a scheme for Gramam Thorum Puttole. So this financial year, we wanted to, select 100 villages and create an ecosystem with the villages. Maybe meaning how to create an ecosystem, meaning, we will have an incubation center attached to that village, a corporate attached to the village, government attached to the village, and maybe some kind of a forum like Rotary Club or, that kind of a socio-economic forum. They also should be attached to that. And people who migrated from that village or around and in good positions, maybe in Chennai or abroad, they will also brought in. And we will provide right kind of mentoring, right kind of, funding support and right kind of market access support, and see to that every village has some kind of a startup understanding and startup, ecosystem, a limited ecosystem at least. So we have almost completed the 100 villages. And to our surprise, when we launched this scheme and, advertised in the papers for applications, we received close to 700 applications of startups working in small villages. And currently, we've selected 62 startups for a 1 lakh grant, and tomorrow our Honorable Minister for MSME is giving away those grants. So like that, we are doing many programs. One is around inclusivity, because when we talk about inclusivity, that attracts the media or the public, but at the same time, we are also balancing with high-tech priorities like space tech, even language technology. We have a separate fund and support system. And the deep tech policy we have coming out. And apart from Startup TN, there are other agencies like IT Hub, TITCO is doing something around space tech, this Kulasegara Pattanam and all those stuff. And this AI, sovereign AI park. We very recently, the government signed up an agreement with the Sarvam AI. Even if you take AI, the Sarvam AI, though now they have their operational base in Bangalore, they are deep-rooted in Chennai. And they are the only organization or only startup in the country where that platform is being developed. Maybe a LLM model or, that kind of thing. Every other AI initiatives are, generative AI, features are developed and, given to, the users. This is the only company that does something core in the AI domain. So, with them, we are creating an AI park. This AI park is a 10,000 crore investment, and which aims to generate close to 1,000 high-tech jobs. And also, one of the initiative, apart from many other AI developments, Tamil First AI is also one of our initiatives. So where, Tamil-based, because if you use any LLMs like ChatGPT or Gemini or something, the English is, very powerful there. But a regional language has its own limitations. So we also wanted to have Tamil into any new development. So that is also one thing. So we wanted to, the government wants to, call it as the digital Sangam in line with the old Tamil Sangams, at least in this particular, context. So like that, I'm just highlighting these couple of initiatives. Apart from that, overall, if you take, we have these funding initiatives, market access initiatives, and mentoring initiatives, and we work with incubation centers a lot. And eventually, like all put together, we are also a policy making agency. So the first policy we released in 2023, and we are implementing whatever we said, and we are taking feedback from every stakeholder of the ecosystem. Then we will come out with the next policy or interim policies also.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the numbers seem to be very promising, but there are three major concerns. So the first one I would say is, though we have so many startups, not many are scaling up in a very big way. And if you also look at the number of unicorns when compared to Bangalore, a Delhi or a Bombay ecosystem, the number of unicorns are quite less in Tamil Nadu. The second big concern is we have fantastic startups here. But after 1 or 2 years, they don't want to be in Chennai or Tamil Nadu. They want to move closer to where funding is. Not having a good PE/VC ecosystem is a big concern for the state even today. And another thing is, there is a perception that we are not making enough noise about what we are doing in Tamil Nadu. So what is your take on this? And what kind of suggestions or what kind of plans does Startup TN have to address all these concerns?
Yeah, so again, that's a good question. I'll comprehensively answer this.
Yeah.
See, when it comes to the comparison between Chennai and Bangalore, and maybe to some extent with Mumbai and Delhi, even in fundraising, we are standing fourth in the recent ranking of Traction or any other venture funding tracking agency or analytics agency. So the reason being, like say for example, Bangalore is the global startup city from India, no doubt about it. Why people often consider that why we are behind Bangalore. So there is a natural reason because all of you are aware that the IT revolution, the IT industry, predominantly rooted in Bangalore for the past 30-40 years. Okay, so most of the IT companies landed there. The multinational companies established their offices and operations, and mainly because of the climate. Unfortunately, 40 years back, there was a green cover, and Bangalore was called the retirement paradise. Now they say 90% plus green cover has been removed because of the development. That is one area of concern, so that we are not coming into that. But the Bangalore's growth in the IT, especially with the IT context, is phenomenal. When you look at the startup as a separate, it is not a separate sector. It is the next generation of industry, but it initially started with IT. Even in the early 2000, only in the year 2000, the word startup came into the dictionary. Right? At that point of time, or the late 90s or the early 2000 years, when startup, the initial startup, what's the definition of a startup? There should be an element of innovation. That element of innovation should help the company to scale. So the innovation and scaling are the primary DNA of a startup. So initially the scaling was enabled mainly with the internet. So the companies which use the internet are mostly the IT applications. So Bangalore being the IT hub, the initial phase of startups, even if you take the total number of startups in India today, even in Tamil Nadu today, we are talking about 13,500 startups, out of which close to 25% of the startups are either IT apps or something like that. It can be mediocre or a super innovative, but it is coming under the IT app or something like that. Now it is slowly converting or transitioning into AI thing. But this dominance started in Bangalore. So naturally, when new opportunity is emerging, a new business model is emerging, or a new scalable company is emerging, otherwise we call it a startup. So the investment agencies, be it a multinational investment agency or an Indian agency, they opened an office in Bangalore. And because of this, it's kind of a chicken and egg story. Because of most of the investment agencies are there, founders from all over the country settled in Bangalore. So this is a 20-25-year-old story. I mean, starting from late 90s, it has all the ingredients to become a startup hub, mainly with the IT superpower backbone. Then subsequently, the investor ecosystem. Then subsequently, all the promising founders, even if you look at all the Swiggy, Zomatos, all those people, they will be having headquartered in Bangalore, but they are not, natives of Karnataka, from cross culture or multicultural. So this is the natural advantage of Bangalore. It is a bit difficult to catch up with them, but we are trying our best. I'll just share what we are doing later. If you take Mumbai, Mumbai is also leading us. Mumbai is the financial capital of India. So naturally, the SEBI is there, RBI is there. Like every VC fund or a PE fund registered in India, they will have an office in Mumbai. So, and the Bangalore offices are not most of the Bangalore offices. If you look at their profile, that is an extended office or a branch office only. But invariably, all the VC funds, they will have an office in Bangalore. Idhe madri, if you look at Delhi, it's a national capital, so that most of the multinational investors, before they come to Mumbai, they come to Delhi for their approval reasons and other things. So they will set up an office there. So this is how these three, cities, in the past 20-25 years, from the beginning of the startup, the history of startups, I would say. Then these ecosystems, because of this IT capital, financial capital, and the national capital, these advantages we didn't have. We were doing good, or still we are doing good in IT, but not up to the mark of Bangalore in the early stages. Okay, so. But the IT parks which are promoted by the former Prime Minister Dr. Kalaignar made Tamil Nadu to somewhat catch up with the other ecosystem, But when we talk particularly about Bangalore, Bangalore has its own natural advantage, like that Mumbai, like that Delhi. So these are the three major reasons why we are lacking. It has an history for that. So how we could catch up that? We can't say and keep doing nothing to catch up that. And personally, I don't feel that becoming number one, number two is not a major thing. So what we should do is we should support. We should have all the ingredients of all the stakeholders. Meaning here the major problem why you asked the question why startups are leaving, because the availability of investors or the proximity of the investors. They can have frequent meetings. So here, and two reasons I would say. One is the proximity to investors. Then there are the corporate culture of Bangalore is somewhat different from Chennai. Most of the Bangalore corporates are the the new generation corporates or the IT corporates. Mostly first generation, founders. I'm talking about corporates or the startups, starting from Infosys kind of companies. And the American companies, the European companies, they have a different culture. For example, maybe sorry to say this, a startup can easily get access to a corporate leader in Bangalore, even in this thing. In Chennai, it's very difficult. Our corporate leaders are not accessible.
So what do you think we can do?
No, even in an event, if you see, they will not, interact with startups or youngsters. At least 80%. Only 20% I could see. People like C.K. Ranganathan and C.K. Kumaravel kind of people. Maybe some of the new generation, if you look, I've seen Girish Mathrubootham and the Vembu brothers, and they're all first generation entrepreneurs. They spend time. But the traditional startups, I don't know. It is not to hurt anybody, but this is a reality. So this is also one, access to capital and access to corporate leadership or the corporate decision makers. These are problems in Chennai. So it is not, government may not be in a position to maybe bringing in investors. We are trying our level best. In the last 2 years, we are trying to, bring investors from Bangalore and Mumbai, and hosting at least 4 or 5 meetings in our office in Nandanam. And we offered them space whenever they want. For their own reasons also, they can utilize our space. We have some 5-6 meeting rooms and couple of cabins, and they can just, within 1 day notice, they can come and utilize that. We don't charge them. So like that, now more and more investors are coming. Last 6 months alone, we helped close to 200 crores fundraise for our startups through these connections. So investor connection, this is one thing. And we are also, like continuously pressing them to open up a branch office here. Initially, we are keen to, like give away space, like without any cost also. This we already extended to them. The second initiative is recently Honorable Chief Minister in the Coimbatore Tamil Nadu Global Startup Summit, which is one of the very successful event where 72,000 people have attended. Honorable Chief Minister announced a 100 crore fund of funds, just a beginning. So through this fund of funds, we wanted to, normally fund of funds invest in other VCs. So we wanted to focus in two areas. We wanted to invite other VCs and invest in them and request them that, or mandate them that they should invest twice in Tamil Nadu startups. And beyond that, we wanted to establish at least 10 VC funds in the next 1 or 2 years from Tamil Nadu, maybe from Chennai at least 5 VC funds and 5 from other locations. Partly government will become a LP in that, a limited partner in those funds. When government comes into their fund, that's a motivation to them. And we will also take care of the registration cost. If a new, maybe this is a message I would like to share. Very soon we'll be coming out with a GO. And if any investor or investor community wants to create a fund, the entire cost will be borne by the government, the registration cost. So, and also, we will also invest in those VC funds. So these are some measures that we are taking in solving this problem. But I would personally see that we can't, give big promises because these 2-3 cities have developed much. I think we will catch up with all our positive and aggressive, initiatives.
All right, so I think we're running short of time. We'll just take 2 questions, just 2 quick questions. One is about, we have a wonderful ecosystem in Chennai, the IIT Madras Research Park, and we also have another ecosystem within IIT itself. Apart from that, we have a lot of incubation cells. We have Crescent Engineering College who have their incubation cell. We have one at the Madras Christian College. So how is Startup TN capitalizing on all these incubation cells and the other ecosystems outside?
Yeah, quickly, in want of time, say we have around 125 incubation centers registered with DPIT, which is the highest in the country. And last 1.5 years, from Startup Tamil Nadu, we are, establishing pre-incubation centers wherever there is no incubation centers, especially in Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4, where we have a mandate of establishing 100 incubation centers. We have given sanction orders for close to 70 incubation centers. The rest of the incubation centers also we are giving away tomorrow, all these sanction orders. So we'll be having 100 incubation centers, pre-incubation centers, plus these 125. Close to 200 plus incubation centers in Tamil Nadu. But as of now, I think, we can't, say that everything is, green and everything is positive stuff. We have, quantitatively, we are leading. But in terms of quality, we are not satisfied, or at least, we, from Startup TN, we are not satisfied with the outcome. So we see that some 20% of these incubation centers are doing really what they have to do. The objective-oriented task they are doing is only 20% of the incubation centers. So now initially, I shared about Startup TN's 4-year journey. We call it a Startup TN 1.0. And from maybe the next 3-4 years, we wanted to have a Startup TN 2.0. In this 2.0, what we wanted to do is, empower these incubation centers. So this, in terms of quantity as well as quality. So we have several plans to improvise their quality aspects, and we wanted to map every startup at least with one incubation center. So out of this 13,400 and growing every day, we wanted to, these incubation centers to be attached with every of these startups, so that, we will know what is their status. Now we are not in a position to, see where they stand. If you ask me a question, maybe I don't know whether you have a question. So what is the growth story of these 13,500 startups? I don't have a data. We are currently doing. Maybe by April, we'll be ready with the data. All these 13,500 companies, what they are doing, how many employment they created, have they raised funds or not, what's the revenue they are making, everything. So based on that, we wanted to attach these incubation centers, the startups with these 250 incubation centers. So like that, then we will be having a complete digital transformation thing, where we will support these startups and see where they stand. Exactly now, and how we could help them to the next growth.
So, sir, one last question. So, as the MD of Startup TN 2.0 version that you just mentioned, what will be your single priority for Chennai?
Yeah, so I can't say a single priority, but maybe one is that, just a practical thing. We can say big vision and all those stuff. I don't want to come into that. Certain practical aspects is that we wanted to see, because when it comes to startup, there is a difference between a micro, small enterprise and a startup, which is scalability, right? So when you don't have a scale, then there is a problem. Now we have, 92% of the startup companies from 2016 are alive. Normally people say that, startups will die down very quickly. But so from 2016, the startups are surviving. But are they scaling is a big question. So we wanted to work on that and see how we could help scaling that startups. And another thing is, you also asked about the unicorn kind of thing. Here, scaling means at least personally, I don't see that unicorns are big, matter to be considered. Because unicorn, if you look at the definition of a unicorn, is a $1 billion valuation. Today, the dollar rate is 90 rupees something. Maybe in another 1 or 2 weeks, it will go to 100 rupees. Let's take 100 rupees. So, for easy calculation, okay, nothing to criticize any governments, but for an easy calculation. So, if you take a dollar rate is equal to 100, so it is 10,000 crore company. A 10,000 crore valuation company is what one unicorn is. So, we are very keen to develop 100 companies of 100 crores, which is again equivalent to one unicorn, or 1,000 companies of 10 crore, where we'll have more founders, more intellectual founders, and more employees who are at the higher end. We are going towards a knowledge economy. And if you create a one unicorn with 10,000 odd job creation, that will end up like how our Honorable Piyush Goyal sir shared sometimes ago. Our startups are creating, converting graduates into delivery boys. So that should not be the outcome of a startup. So we wanted to create a deep tech, real innovation, disruptive startups, rather than these are meaningful startups even if they achieve unicorn status. But without that thing, some trendy thing, like say for example some edtech, couple of companies in edtech, they they frizzled out. One day it is $2.2 billion. The next month it is zero, bankruptcy. Okay, that's an exceptional case. I don't criticize on that. But when the fundamentals are not right, you will end up creating those kind of unicorns, and eventually create kind of a distrust and lack of hope in the ecosystem, which we don't want. Chennai is very strongly, the corporate governance is comparatively very strong. We don't fly-by-night companies here, comparatively, right? And we wanted to leverage on those strengths. So that is where we wanted to establish a very strong, fundamentally strong ecosystem in the days to come.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for that wonderful, insightful session, and thank you, audience, for being so patient with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jay, to please join us on stage, do the honors, and present mementos. Thank you so much to Mr. Sivaraja Ramanathan, Mission Director and CEO of Startup TN. Can we give him a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Senior Assistant Editor, Business, The Hindu. Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you so much.